Hey, do you know people that tend to rate yoga alignment and yoga posture either good or poor? This idea is based on tradition, mostly, sometimes on aesthetics, but not on science and evidence. My first yoga teacher, I called her General Yamamoto. She was obsessed with perfect alignment. Under her strict guidance, my poses almost began to look perfect. But I also developed physical problems, and it made me quit yoga for almost 2 years. This experience made me question everything about correct alignment. As we become more skilled in our yoga practice, our body also adapts to these movement patterns, and rigid alignment cues lose their value. My key question is, if a posture is good, then why do we stop progressing in it over time? My name is Danica, and in this workshop, you will learn that posture is not inherently right or wrong. It is more an evolving process that requires experimentation and adaptation as you grow into a more confident student. Welcome to my class. As we just learned, our body adapts to repeated positions, making them less effective. On top, the idea of a perfect posture often ignores individual bone structure and movement capacity. So let's look at an example. Research shows that anterior pelvic tilt affects 85% of men and 75% of women. Many without them even knowing it or feeling any pain. Only 9 to 18% had a naturally aligned pelvis, and the remaining participants had a posterior tilt. So there are infinite variables when it comes to our musculoskeletal system. Each person's body comes with its own characteristics. Coming towards the applied part of our workshop, I want to chat about considerations. There's always a few exceptions. One condition is osteoarthritis. Our current understanding of degenerative articular cartilage tells us that there is little or nothing we can do to promote adaptation. Articular cartilage is the smooth tissue that covers the ends of bones in joints. It helps reduce friction and acts as a cushion, making movement easier and prevent bone damage. Also, compound fractures or any other injuries to musculoskeletal tissues should never be loaded until healed and cleared by your healthcare professional. So with this in mind, let's get up and take this knowledge and explore our skeletal differences in a pose that is traditionally labeled as correct or incorrect, like the Warrior Two pose. Step onto your mat directly into Warrior Two pose. Your stance should be wrist width apart, or work with a stance that allows you maintaining a neutral spine alignment. Turn your left foot out, 90-degree angle in your front leg, and your knee above your heel. Hips open to the front, raise your arms to T-pose. Let's just pretend this is textbook style. So what do you perceive standing in this position? Usually, there's high activation on your quadriceps. Your hamstrings are flexed, and your gluteal muscles are active for pelvic stabilization. There's also moderate activation on your adductors and calf muscles for posture control and foot stability. Now, let's widen the step beyond the traditional position and explore how this is different. You might feel your glutes experience an increased engagement and tension. Particularly, your gluteus medius has to work harder to maintain hip stability. Both front and back leg quads face increased load. Your adductors experience significantly more stretch in both legs, and your lumbar spine is highly activated. Release and shake out. Step back to warrior two. This time, make your step smaller than usual. Lift your arms up and take a couple of seconds and explore how this is different now. Overall, your glutes need to work less here, less hip stabilization is required, and your quadriceps activation might decrease both in your front and in your back leg. Your hamstrings in the back experience less stretch and in the front reduced loading. Step back into the traditional position with a wider stance. From here, turn your foot slightly inward and lift your arms. Explore the change in this variation. There is significantly more load on your front knee now. Your quadriceps, inner squat, increase their engagement to help stabilize your knee joint. Potentially, your gluteus medius works harder to maintain external rotation of the hip. Your adductors engage more actively to help maintain knee alignment and release and shake legs out. Let's get back one more time into warrior two. This time, I will step back a little bit more so you can see me better. This time, slightly tilt your pelvis forward. Lift your arms and explore how this is different. With anterior pelvic tilt, your lower back muscles work harder and compress. Your glutes might disengage, the hamstrings stretch more but engage less, and overall core stability decreases, and you have to work against it to stand stable. Let's try the opposite direction. Slightly tilt your pelvis backward. In posterior tilt, your lower back might flatten, the glutes become overactive, and your hamstrings shorten and engage more strongly. The hips flexors lengthen, and your abdominals tighten and become dominant. Okay, relax and shake your legs out. Did this practice felt like poor alignment, or did you just shift weight? Let's talk about what you've learned today. First, posture isn't just good or bad. It's a dynamic process of adaptation. Focus on specific body areas. Second, a pose that once challenged you might not challenge you anymore. So explore how you can modify it. Gradually increase load and try different variations. If it doesn't feel good, you can always back up. As a homework exercise, I encourage you to explore further on your favorite poses. At the beginning, do the pose just as you've learned it. Then close your eyes and slightly adjust the pose based on what feels best. Then open your eyes again and explore how does your natural alignment differs from the alignment you've learned. Can you perceive what feels better? Next time in class, you might also talk with your teacher about your experience. Thanks for your participation. My name is Danica. If you liked my workshop, feel free to come back to my channel. Bye.